Scottsburg High School hasn't fielded a football team since 1983, but now, 31 years later, with the support of the community and a loyal administration, football is back on in Scottsburg.
In the 80s, education faced a tight budget crunch, and so at the time, the school officials were looking at ways to save salaries, save money, and they felt that the football program had not been successful. I think we had had 3 straight losing seasons where we hadn't won a game. Just difficulty getting some kids out. I mean, I think the last football team was 38 or 40, but they felt like they needed more participation. And so they felt like they had to make that change to save the school corporation money. And of course, funding was much different in schools then. Some of the football parents, they were upset, and they were clearly disappointed by that decision.
On that side, it's onside right. Late in the game, we know we need an onside. They know we need an onside. I want 3 guys over there on that side. Get space. Because if something happens, you're the only line of defense to that side.
And so last year they worked out a proposal with the board to do a pilot program at the middle school level. Our superintendent really supported this. So there's some people in the community that obviously, anytime you start a program, there's some that are against the program and some are for. There were people that said, well, it failed before, what's going to be different? And we laid out those things, but we wanted to prove that it could succeed. So we had a middle school program last season, and the first home game we drew about 700-800 people in the community. The Youth League ran that program last year to show that it could be successful financially and that the kids would participate. We had about 40-some kids in 2 grades.
I was shocked at first because just a few weeks before they had turned it down, so at first I didn't know what to think, but after I realized it was true, I was really excited. Just pumped to get back out there and play.
Our superintendent was convinced that it should happen, and he made a recommendation. It failed the first time. And it wasn't that the board was against football. It was against the cost, the startup cost. A board member had talked to me about, hey, if you and Mr. Raby could go out and raise the money, I think the board would come around.
This is not a wealthy community. Mr. Mans knows everybody here in town. So he and I went out and solicited some donations from the community, from the business people, to try and get this thing going because it's very expensive. We raised over $20,000. And in this community, that is I think it's a whole lot in any community. The outpour of emotion from the people here in town has just been great.
It just makes me feel like I'm more part of the school than I would be just sitting in a classroom all day.
I just enjoy playing football, and it's a fun sport.
Exciting to be on the first team in 31 years. It's just a real big honor. I can't wait to play because I've played football my whole life. From Ohio, a big football state, and it's just exciting to finally get to play for my school.
One of the factors that really got football passed by our school board is we had some student athletes that were middle school that came to the school board and talked to them about what football meant to them. And I know our superintendent made the comment that really pushed him. There was one student that said, the only reason why I'm here in school is because of football. If we didn't have football, I wouldn't be in school right now. That's why you do it. You're reaching out and helping the kids get connected with the school in one more way. Because you get a lot of students, a lot of student athletes that this is all they do is play football. Football's a little bit different body style, linemen and whatever. So that's all they do. They play football. Well, here's another way of getting connected with Scottsburg, with the community, with the high school, that you can play football.
Every year we lost 3 to 5 students, and if you understand Indiana funding, that's between $18,000 and $30,000 a year, and over the life of 5 students, you're talking $120,000 in 4 years.
There's been several times when people will drive by and start beeping their horn, yelling, hollering, yeah, like they're all pumped. It's been nice. They've really accepted us quite a bit.
I think you see a lot of student pride. We see a lot of school spirit. For those kids that may be too big to play basketball but wanted to participate in a sport, this gives them that pride. They walk around with their football jerseys and their football gear. Now they're like, hey, I'm a school leader. People talk to me, and just the pride in those students, and that to me is what it's all about. As I tell people all the time, I'm in the kid business. You know, I'm not in just education. We're in the kid business.
The return of football at Scottsburg has been due in large part to the hard work of dedicated individuals. And after the break, we take you through the excitement of the first game back in 30 years. Stay tuned. The Chevrolet Indiana Prep Zone continues right after this. Board approval to bring football back to Scottsburg High School was merely the first step. Fielding a team, equipping that team, putting together a field, and most importantly, who are they going to play? Schedule assembly and all the logistics are harder tasks than one might imagine.
That's it. Get the ball. Get the ball. Somebody's got to get it. The first wall hits, the second guy's got to retrieve the ball. Go back, there's a perfect kick. Perfect kick.
We had some equipment to order. What I told our football coaches when we went through the interview process, that we didn't have a football. We had nothing, absolutely nothing. So we had a lot of equipment to get prices on, things that you don't even think about, paint, yard markers. Some of that stuff we have from our youth football league, but a whole lot of the stuff we just had to go out and get.
Wall right, let's go.
Our team motto is plant the spear. It means to not only just plant the football for us, but for future generations to come, and to start a foundation for this football team being a success in Scottsburg.
When we started looking for a coach, that was one of the things we wanted out of a coach. Somebody that would inspire our kids to be good citizens, good role models, instill discipline and teamwork, and make a difference in their lives. We felt like we made a great steal from the Indianapolis area out of Ben Davis and picking him out.
It helps being from that environment because he knows what it takes to win. And we want to win. I mean, we're just like everybody else in every other sport, in every other school. We want to win. We want to be competitive, and we want to win. So he knows what we have to do to win. And I think that was a big plus for him and for us.
I need your attention.
Yes, sir.
From where we're at right now, we're going surprise onside to the right. Okay, surprise onside to the right. So we keep 5 on each side. All right, knowing that the ball's going there, that's your immediate angle.
It's a special opportunity. I mean, you have a community that's been hungry for football during that time. You have a lot of people that have been fighting for the opportunity for these students to have the opportunity to play the game and to be the guy that comes in with the community behind me. That's a pretty special opportunity, so excited.
One time afterwards, okay? That's where you're going to set the wall up for the return. You're the end, right? You've got to be the first one to find the ball carrier. You've got to locate where the football is.
My first order of business was to organize a coaching staff. And in a community that hasn't had football in 31 years, you don't have former players that are just chomping at the bit to be on your coaching staff. So just finding guys that had a passion for making this thing work, and then adding some experience to the mix as well. We feel like we have a great coaching staff right now that are positive role models for these young men, and have a good mixture of Scottsburg community guys and guys that just have experience coaching.
Crawford County spent 2 years of JV, and what I was told is they had wished they had done the third year, just to get everything set up. We will play some varsity football games. We have one scheduled for next year, and we're looking maybe of adding another one and play a couple varsity games next year, and then looking in the third year of maybe playing 3 or 4.
The cornerstone of the program's got to be strength and conditioning. And that's one of the things at Ben Davis. They were one of the first to have a strength and conditioning program, which is why they have a tradition of success. It's a system and it works. It works whether you're at Ben Davis High School, it'll work at Scottsburg.
Warrior Nation! Warrior Nation!
Well, in the 3-year span, we hope to improve our facilities. We have no full bleachers. We have just temporary bleachers that we have brought in. We have no locker room facilities for the teams to dress in. We're going to have to, address that. Restrooms is a concern. We're going to have to address that.
Resources are a challenge. What was the football field has been converted into a soccer and band facility. So there are challenges as far as resources go that's just going to take time for us to be able to establish.
We have no lights here. The football facility will be at the middle school because they have lights. They have lights, they have restrooms, they have some restrooms, they have a concession stand. The big thing is they have lights. What we wanted to do is just get the program started. We'll take care of all those things as we go along. Our primary focus was let's get the ball rolling, let's get the thing approved by the board, and we'll go from there.
W-A-R-R, I-O-R-S, W-A-R-R, I-O-R-S, W-A-R-R, I-O-R-S.
I'm looking forward to, first and foremost, having a community experience. For this community to come out and experience the Friday Night Lights. And that to me is really special for the community to be able to take part and come together and get to experience that for the first time in many years. I want to win the game. I mean, to me, we've preached it to them since I was hired that is the goal, is to win. We've been preparing to be competitive and to win the football game. With that said, it is a great feeling to be able to even step out on the field for that first coin toss and represent your community with Scottsburg across your chest.
Knock 'em down, roll around, come on, defense, work!
I think it's going to be a circus, and I think that's fantastic. I think the excitement from the community and the atmosphere will be electric, and I think the kids will greatly appreciate it. The place will be jumping.
I'm just privileged and humbled to be a part of Scottsburg High School as a graduate, former player, and see the return, and now to lead them. I'm very thankful. I just think it's going to be a community celebration that, hey, we're going to participate in Friday Night Lights as a community.
Not only was the first football game back at Scottsburg High School a memorable one, it was a victorious one as well. The Warriors beating Switzerland County on the backing of 2 touchdowns, 12-0. Congratulations to Warrior Nation. Stay tuned, we'll wrap up the Chevrolet Indiana Prep Zone right after this.